Come for the game, stay for the commentary.
Ain't nothing but a seat then, baby.
Minion in. Some time ago, I promised to use my inside line to the devs to get you guys information. You wrote in a bunch of questions and I passed them along for answers. With the new platform releases happening, devs have been very busy, so this took a little time. But I've got the first set of answers. Out of 45 questions, I have 21 ready, and 2 have already been answered as part of the fall update. Instead of making you wait until I had all of them, I decided to make this a 2-parter. Here goes, you guys. Sir Dwebsalot asked, can we look forward to a single-player arenas and/or dungeons in the future? And the devs said, currently there aren't any single-player arena or dungeons planned. We definitely encourage everyone to try out a guild to make your dungeon experiences even better. Six Fallen 6 asked, a lot of people are skipping dialogue for main quests and some end up not even knowing what the story is after. Any chance of adding voiceovers to campaign quests? And the devs said, we would love for a fully voiced campaign quest too, however that is not on the roadmap. Fallen also asked, it's easy to miss having a dot effect on your character. Any chance of making those debuffs more noticeable? And the devs said, our team is aware of this and have been taking steps to improve, but no ETA yet, stay tuned. I've seen this question pop up frequently in social media lately, so pay attention. Will it ever be possible to dodge in the middle of a combo and then continue the combo where it left off? And the devs said, dodge interrupting combos is actually by design. One of the design goals of the combat system is to be tactical and highlight the risk-reward. This leads to the choice of taking a hit to try to finish that combo or dodge out of the way. Not being able to jump while sprinting feels unnatural. Any chance that will be possible one day? And the devs said, our focus right now is on new content and balance, so I'm not sure this could be looked at, but we always appreciate hearing feedback from the community. Please keep it coming. Since players pooling money and resources from all of their alts has become standard practice, is there any talk of maybe making currency account-wide rather than character-based? And the devs said, not at this time, but we'll talk about it and maybe get it on our schedule. Rafa Fez asked, with the game evolving, it feels like we won't be able to match enemy power soon. Does that mean we're about to see a new rank of gear like S or A+? And the devs said, we expect more powerful gear to become available to players, however we don't have an ETA on that just yet. Queen of Taming asked, will there be expansions including new character classes and maps in the future? And the devs said resoundingly, yes. Queen of Taming also asked, is a server merge on Xbox possibly being considered for the future? And the devs said, not at this time. Unseriously Serious wanted to know, some of us in the Blessed community have concerns that our feedback isn't being addressed, especially in regards to recent changes that are having a negative reception, and I'm curious if there's any thoughts on improving this conversation so that the community feels like they have more of a seat at the table. If they're looking for suggestions to this question, perhaps an in-game feedback system, polling, or even a conversation prior to update implementation on social media or elsewhere, so minor tweaks can occur to better improve player experience and response. The devs said, Bandai Namco Entertainment America does their best to make sure your voice is heard by the development team. It often takes more time than expected to implement complicated changes. Sometimes it takes time to build consensus and the next step forward, like with the recent enhancement changes. Your feedback is always shared with the development team. We will be implementing a new Discord channel soon specifically for questions that you want to hear answers from the dev team on. Once we get the answers, we'll make sure we share them with you all across our social channels and on the Bless Unleashed news page. I personally would like to add, and this is Minion talking, not the devs, that if anyone is expecting a kind of forum where the devs ask players, hey, we're about to make some changes, is this okay with you guys? I wouldn't hold my breath. Unseriously Serious further asked, sometimes you zone into an area and enemies don't render or load right away. Have you considered a temporary rezoning invincibility to prevent us being damaged by enemies we cannot yet see? And the devs said optimization is ongoing and this is definitely something we would like to see implemented as well. That functionality currently exists for PvP, but we will talk about expanding it beyond PvP as something to add in the future. Will there be more unions in the future? At this time, there aren't any rumblings about adding in a new union, but if we were to add one, what would you like to see? For those of you who do have ideas for new unions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section of this video. Will we ever be able to visit other players' estates? And the devs said this is something we hope to see added in a future update. Thomas Rayleigh asked, have there been any talks among the devs about reducing the time it takes to stand up from a sitting position? And the devs said not at this time, but we will take this on as a request. Shane Lynch asked, any chance of a self-buff skill for rangers in future? And the devs said there aren't any plans to add new active skills at this time, but we will take this as a request also. Kyle Cooper asked, why did my dad leave when I was 6? And the devs said, unbeknownst to your family, your father was working on a top secret project for a government agency. When his directors asked that he begin looking into military actions, your father gathered all the data on the project and fled. Now he works with a crack commando unit that was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you can find them, maybe you can reunite with your father. Vicky Rain said, what is the success percentage of each level of item at all enhancers? We would know how many embers we need to use if we could do the math. And the dev said, that is not something we can share, sorry. I also had some questions, like, knowing what you know now about the in-game market and economy, has the idea of direct player-to-player trading been revisited, or maybe a guild bank? And the dev said, we are looking into something for a guild bank and hope to have that for you within the next few updates. Direct player-to-player trading is not currently planned. I also asked, Xbox One X users are still experiencing the Market Tooltip display bug where part of the information is hidden below the bottom of the screen. How much priority is this problem getting? And the dev said we are aware of this issue and are working on a solution. However, this bug will take some time to fix properly. Timers on the map for regionals and crusades were a huge help. Can we expect something like it for field boss respawns instead of us having to stand there and wait for an hour or more? And the dev said yes, this is something we expect to see in the next update. Some games have a companion app to help players keep track of timers and events and even let players do some minor managing from their mobile devices. Any chance of seeing something like that for Bless Unleashed in future? And the dev said this is something we talked about pre-launch and we still love the idea, but there are no plans as of now. Are there any plans to maybe make rare spawns and similar locations safe zones or implement some other measure to give everyone an equal chance at this type of content? And the dev said our team is aware of this, and there have been rumblings about varying the spawn locations of ancient chests and such in a future update, but we don't have an ETA right now. We'll talk about this and see if there's any room in the schedule to help make this better for players soon. I interpret this as a more randomization of spawn locations like ancient chest smugglers and rare animal tames. Something to make it impossible to predict where and when these things will spawn, so that these locations can't be camped and dominated by large guilds anymore. I consider that good news. More questions are still pending, and I'll share the answers to those with you as soon as I get them. Until then, go be freaking heroes. Minion out.